Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, welcome to Sports Day Monday. I said a couple weeks ago I was going to try and bring this back to be a thing. Here's the first step to doing that. So, this is just basically me ranting, talking, giving my views on important. Well, I guess they're not really important because it's sports, but sports stories that I care about and I like to talk about. So let's get started. First off, I'll begin with the two championships that were decided over the weekend. And by weekend, I mean yesterday, Sunday. Um, Congratulations to the LA Galaxy for winning the MLS title. And I guess congratulations Tony Stewart for winning the NASCAR Sprint Cup, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm kidding. Congratulations, Tony Stewart. I only act that way because, like I said earlier in the year, I'm not really a diehard NASCAR fan, but I follow the standings and I have drivers that I root for. And my favorite one out of those is Carl Edwards. See, rocking the Aflac 90. What is on my hat? What is that? Oh, I don't know what that was. But yeah, and Carl Edwards is the guy that Tony Stewart beat for the championship. It was close. It was good. I think this is what NASCAR wanted when they started the chase for the Cup, because years leading up to that, the title would be decided like with 10 races left. So who's going to watch the last 10 races when you already know who wins the championship? So they introduced this, and this is really the first time that it's come down this close. It's come down to the last race, but never this close, and never with the two people who had a chance to win being this close. I mean, it was going into the day. Stewart had was trailing 3 points to Edwards, and those two drivers were the worthy ones that dominated the race. Edwards led the most laps, but Stewart led the most important lap. Yeah, I didn't really watch the entire race, but I was kind of flipping back and forth between the Cowboys game, and once the Cowboys game ended, which I'll talk about later, I was playing Skyrim, but I was flipping back and forth, but it had rain delays and all of that, but the last 30 laps, I don't think I've ever been that into a race, even the ones that I've been to. But it was good. Edwards was good throughout the season, but Tony Stewart was better in the clutch. So, anyways, congratulations, Tony. Back to MLS real quick. The David Beckham experiment finally paid off for the LA Galaxy because they beat the Houston Dynamo 1-0 yesterday off of a Landon Donovan goal in the 72nd minute. That goal came off of an assist by Robbie Keane, and who else? David Beckham. So this is the Galaxy's third title and first since 2005. Congratulations, Galaxy. FC Dallas will be on your ass next season. Watch out. From the two championships that were decided, let's just kind of talk about a championship we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to play, and it's still just a big cluster mess of jumbledness. And that, of course, is college football. Over the weekend, what was already a stable situation just blew up. And it started on Friday whenever Iowa State upset Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State was number 2 in the nation, undefeated. They were looking to win the Big 12, go 12-0, and pretty much be guaranteed a shot in the national title game. Iowa State just took it in 2 overtimes. I think the refs should have at least looked at that missed field goal by Oklahoma State, but they didn't. Iowa State won. But then you get into the weekend, and Oklahoma was sitting at 1 loss. If they beat OSU, Oklahoma State, then they win the Big 12, and they have a good shot at getting the title. No, they go down to Waco and get beat by Baylor. Then you have Oregon. Their 1 loss came off of LSU. All they really need to do is win out. No, they lose to USC. So they're still leading the Pac-12 North. But then you have Stanford, who only has one conference loss to Oregon, and they beat Cal. So it's just it's a mess. The only undefeated team with a legitimate shot at a national title is LSU. I know Houston is undefeated, but come on, they're not going to get a shot. If Boise went all those undefeated years and they never got a shot, then Houston's not getting a shot with 1 year like this. As much as I would love for them to play. And they would get stomped by LSU because it's Houston, but I mean, you go the season undefeated. I think you should get the shot. But they shouldn't. They'll at least get a BCS game. But I'm getting sidetracked. What I'm trying to say is, what now? I mean, the top 3 teams in the nation are all SEC East teams. Only one of those teams is going to play in the conference championship game, and it's not even going to be Arkansas, who's number 3. If LSU loses to Arkansas, so I hear, Alabama gets to play in the championship against Georgia. So if somehow Arkansas upsets LSU, the BCS title thing, their title situation is totally screwed up. I don't think that's going to happen. Early in the season, I said LSU was overrated. They kept winning. I'm like, oh, they're still overrated, blah, blah, blah. How are they still winning? I guess they're legitimate. Shows what I know about LSU. But yeah. So, I mean, who's going to play? Are you really going to have an all-SEC East national title game? I mean, yeah, they're probably the 2 best schools, but is anyone outside of the South even going to watch it? I don't know if I would, and I love college football. But maybe if LSU and Alabama had a rematch, maybe someone could actually score a touchdown then. I don't know. The next couple weeks ought to be exciting. I'm glad it's Monday. It's the end of the sports week. Brand new week. And I need it because this past week has been just terrible for me in sports. I guess I'll start off last Wednesday when UNT's men's basketball team went to Lubbock to play the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and they lost. They played Texas Tech last year here in Denton at the Super Pit, and we beat them in overtime. But this year we went out to Lubbock. We have a much younger team. Most of our experienced players graduated last year. But Tech also had a young team and a new coach, so it's still pretty even playing field, except for it being in Lubbock. But, we lost 69-64, but we should have won that game. We had every opportunity to win it. But when you only shoot 36%, and 1 for 16 behind, from 3-point range, it makes it very hard to win. So, but we're young. It's still pretty. We hung in there, and it's pretty exciting to kind of see the development that's going to come, and it's positive for the future, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But on top of that, UNT's football lost on Saturday against surprising Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky's been kind of a bottom dweller in the Sun Belt for the past 3 seasons, and then all of a sudden this year, I think they're 7-5 now. Kind of crazy, but that loss dropped UNT to 4-7. No shot at a 500 win season. Yeah, we lost 31-21. Our defense didn't show up. The week before, we went to Troy, beat Troy on the road for the first road victory of the year, and then Western Kentucky comes in and gives us our first home loss in 3 games since Houston. But I mean, we didn't really have our star running back Lance Dunbar, who injured his knee against Troy. Well, he played some downs, but I mean, when you injure your knee, you're not going to be that effective the next week. So we're still having our best season since 2005. First time we've actually won 4 games in a season since then. I think so. Yeah, is it 05? I'm gonna stick with 05. But yeah, it would have been nice just to get that 6th win to say, hey, we're bowl eligible. Even though no 6-win team from the Sun Belt is ever gonna get a bowl unless you win the Sun Belt Conference, like UNT did several years ago. when we were below 500. Won Sun Belt. Got a NCAA exemption. Long story. You can look into that on your own. Yeah. Next in a couple weeks we play Middle Tennessee, so hopefully we can get that 5th win, and that's just a big step in this program. I don't even know if we won 5 games in the past 3 years combined. Maybe we have. If not, it was just barely over that, like 6 wins. But, that's what a new coach will do to you. You just turn this program around. They play harder. We held Houston to like 40-something points. And they scored like 73 a couple weeks ago. So anyways, along with my college's football and basketball team losing, the Dallas Stars are on a 5-game losing streak. They haven't won a game in like a week. Over a week. It's been a long time. I can't even keep track. 5-game losing streak. We went from the best record in all of hockey to being 10th in the standings in the Western Conference. Now, I know it's early in a long season, but if this is a sign of things to come, that long season is going to get even longer for Stars fans. We haven't been to the playoffs in 3-4 seasons. From the late 90s through the mid-thousands, Stars fans, we got kind of accustomed to going to the playoffs. I know we only won one Stanley Cup back in '99, but just going to the playoffs was fine. Going, into the later rounds was great. You always had that hope, but whenever you have a losing record and you're not making the playoffs, it's just hard to get excited. But, not for me. I'm always excited for hockey. They got off to a hot start, but, maybe this is just a little early season slump. I think they'll get over it. There's been a lot of turmoil with the ownership situation with Tom Hicks, who pretty much ruined the franchise and ruined the Rangers franchise for years. It's now out as the Stars owner, which is fantastic. But the Stars have a new owner. Tom Gaglardi, a Canadian businessman, bought the Stars, and the transaction went through, so he is now the new owner for the Stars. I'm excited because he's not Tom Hicks. Anyone's better than Tom Hicks, but this guy, I'm hoping good things for him. I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know, how he made his money. I don't know where he came from. All I know is he has a passion for hockey. So hopefully this guy does good things for the Stars. So last thing for the day, I'm going to end on a positive note. The one shining sliver of positivity in my sports week came yesterday when the Dallas Cowboys squeaked out a win against the Washington Redskins. And this is the first time since 2009 that the Dallas Cowboys have won 3 games in a row. It wasn't pretty. There were times where the Cowboys looked fantastic. And then Rex Grossman and that one guy who caught the... Sorry, I don't know anybody else on offense for the Redskins. Sorry. But they ate up our defense. Especially in that last drive in the fourth quarter. Drive down the field to tie the game. Where are you at, defense? And then in overtime, you let them drive down the field again? Luckily, their kicker missed a 52-yard field goal, but just barely wide right. So, I don't know, Cowboys, you got lucky. I'm happy. I'm ecstatic that you actually won. And I had a team that I was rooting for win this week. But Dan Bailey saved your ass. Rookie sensation out of Oklahoma State. Squeaked in that 39-yarder. Squeaked it in the right upright. I thought he missed it, but it was close, and they said he made it. So Cowboys won. Now we're just looking towards Thanksgiving when the 3-7 Dolphins come in to Dallas for that good old Turkey Day game. It's easy to overlook these Dolphins, but maybe with the scare in Washington, the Cowboys will go into this game more focused, which they need to. Because right now they're tied for first place in the NFC East. And you got to win this game, and you have to beat Arizona, because the next 2 weeks for the Giants, New Orleans and Green Bay. And it doesn't get any easier for you if you're the Cowboys, and it doesn't really get any tougher for you if you're the Giants. So the Cowboys have to jump on this to try and at least stay tied or go ahead, because you still play the Giants twice in the last 4 weeks. But Thursday's going to be a good day for football. What do you have? You have the Detroit Lions against the Green Bay Packers, and then the Cowboys against the Dolphins, which Cowboys should dominate that game. But, I mean, who knows? Any given Thursday, right? Thursday night game on NFL Network, which my grandparents have, is going to be the San Francisco 49ers against the Baltimore Ravens. So, 2 fantastic games and 1 game that should be a blowout, but will probably end up being pretty good. So we'll see. But that's really all I have to talk about today. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.